Gratitude isn't just about thinking nice, it actually rewires your brain for success. Don't believe me? Stay with me. That's why you don't see the result. What your amygdala would most likely signal to you. I had times when I was super grateful and everything was going amazing. I never really put two and two together that this was because I was actually grateful. It just blew my mind. This is not just some magic, this is not just manifestation. Start taking control of those thoughts and you'll take control over your life really soon. This is truly actually written in the Bible. We will dive deeper into this. Hello friends, my name is Solomia and I'm a doctor psychiatrist and I'm here to help you heal, help you rewire your brain with faith to success, to your better life, to your better self. Let's go through this journey together. This is very dear topic to my heart because actually very recently I've discovered gratitude on a completely new level. And you might be, oh yeah, I heard about it, I tried it, it doesn't work. But let me tell you this, you may be just doing it wrong. You maybe were doing it right, but you didn't involve certain things that we're gonna talk about in this video. That's why you didn't see the result. With a gratitude journey some time ago, and at first I didn't see any results whatsoever, okay? So I understand you if you've been there. I've been there too. My recent story is actually kind of a testimony of what God can do combined with gratitude. I want to say that yeah, what God can do is just crazy, but this video will be not about this. When I started a gratitude journal back in the days, I would just be like this, writing, typing machine. Back in the days when they didn't have laptops and all of that, and there was a person doing that, and they were just like a machine. That's how kind of I was. I would just open my journal, I would just start writing, and keep writing, and thinking that because, there are so many gurus out there recommending this, that just this itself will change things, right? What I didn't understand back then is that you have to actually include something deeper than that. You have to include feelings. Not just any superficial feelings, but feelings of deep gratitude. For me personally, it's just being grateful to God with a very little thing, starting from very little thing, like having light in my house, right? Having gas, having just the roof above my head. Some time ago we were in this situation that is just blew my mind because it's related to gratitude. What happened is that we were going through the challenging season with my husband and my family, and in between jobs, business basically failed and all types of things. So we had to ask our landlord to us to pay the rent later, and we didn't know how we're gonna do that. And it was just crazy, honestly. But we didn't even know they would agree to that. But not only they agreed and were totally fine with that, but let me tell you what God did. 2 days later, 2 or like 3 days, 2.5, 3 days later, we paid it. Like, what? We just got checks in the mail that we didn't expect, and I know people talk about stuff like that, and this just seems crazy and so far away, but when this happened to me, I'm testifying that it's happening. It's still happening this day, guys. Like, God is so good. He will step out for you. But what I did is actually not just random things, not just praying, not just, doing this machine type actions over and over. I started to actually think about my life and include such deep feelings of gratitude. I would go all over through my childhood, and I remember like good things, like you have to actually, if you need to change right now specific area of your life, you have to focus on one area at a time, because this will be the most powerful. So for me, that was finances at that point. I started to think about things that were provided for me and I didn't have to pay, and I started to be so grateful. I started to thank God, and I just started to cry because I realized that through my life, actually, God stepped in so many times for me and provided for me in ways that are just unimaginable, right? And I started to feel this deep feelings that I felt it before, but probably not so intensely at one time. And I never really put two and two together that maybe back then when I had times when I was super grateful and everything was going amazing, I never really put two and two together that this was because I was actually grateful. But this time I fully realized, I became to full awareness why things were happening the way they were happening. And as soon as I started to be grateful, I started to be grateful for the little things we have. We had some things going on, but we still had, like, we didn't know if we're gonna have like food, but somehow miraculously we were provided with it, and then all the things. And during that challenging season of our lives, and we all go through seasons, but that was just mind-blowing, guys, like mind-blowing. And honestly, I wanted to talk in this video more about like how our brain works, how gratitude rewires our brain. But I got put in my heart to talk about this situation, and that's why I'm talking about it right now. When you share your real stories, it's more powerful. Just mind-blowing, right, guys? 2 days, like literally 2 days, everything changed. It didn't took us months, half year, or years. Literally 2 days, it's all it took, guys. So when I'm saying gratitude is powerful, trust me, I know what I'm talking, and this is just one story. There were other stories, and I'm not gonna just talk in this video about that because I still want to mention some things about how our mind works. Since I was mentioning in a previous video a little bit about our subconscious mind, and that during our childhood it kind of builds up all these little memories, all these little kind of triggers and anchors that it refers to when some situation shows up in your life, and when it's like a kind of like a repeatable station, something similar to what you had in a childhood, and it was painted in like a bad context in your childhood, let's say, money related, let's say, right? If I don't know, your family was going through some housing situation and it was kind of scary, then most likely when you're adult and you will have some similar situation coming up like that, or maybe not even similar, but something that is, far away, you feel that that might be a problem. Well, what your amygdala would most likely signal to you is that there will be some fear involved, even when nothing bad happened yet. Probably your brain would start to trigger you with those fearful thoughts and anxiety. And eventually, if you don't step in, if you don't take over those thoughts, they might actually kind of provoke you in a way to do some actions that might lead to that, in our example, housing situation, right? In other words, and it's not just trying to do you bad, no, your brain is actually working for you. It's saying that it's safe to do repeatable things, repeatable actions that it knows that were involved because it learned it from like childhood or even sometimes adulthood. But until you step in, and hopefully you step in with gratitude, it's gonna be really hard to change those things. Good news is that you can step in, you can take over those thoughts. Have to stay aware of those thoughts, because if you're like not just thinking about nothing, you just spend hours on social media, it will be hard to track those. Probably you will not even realize that that's what's happening, that those bad thoughts take you over and create such a negativity, and that's when everything goes down spiral. So once you become being grateful, like truly grateful. Just ask yourself questions to the area of your lives that you need to change right now. If it's health, like just be grateful that you're alive. Even if you don't have good health right now, just be grateful that you can breathe, or some other things, and just feel it deeply, and then start to go more like deeply into details, into like smaller things to be grateful for. Once you do that, once you start doing this every day, once you start just implementing it through your life, your brain will rewire automatically. I tell you, neuroplasticity is an amazing thing. You can literally mold your brain, shape it into something else. It requires some time and some effort at first, but later it will happen automatically, right? Later it will just go into your sympathetic and parasympathetic system. It will just become your subconscious mind, and you will not have to try so hard. It just at the beginning, it's kind of hard to change those limiting beliefs, change those patterns from your childhood and your past, right? Write in the comments right now to encourage other people. Maybe you had some testimonies about being grateful and how it changed your life. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. But what I want to mention here, one more thing, is that if you're going through something right now, just take a moment to be present. Take a moment when you're not listening to music, you're not listening to social media, you're not watching nothing. You need, first of all, to be in this quiet space. No noise, okay? Because it's all noises, distractions, whatever it is for you. It creates such noise that you can't even understand, like, what's going on with you, right? You don't understand, you don't even realize that you have maybe some negative thoughts going on. It's really hard to track it down with all the noise and distractions nowadays, especially as a mom. Like for me, it's just when your child is like mom 1,000 times a day, it's not that simple anymore, right? Especially if you don't have much support. But just take those little moments, start small, just sit in a quiet space, just track down those thoughts, see what you're thinking. Is it negative? Is it positive? Just don't try to push it. Just think if it's negative or positive. Start taking control of those thoughts, and you'll take control over your life really soon. Then, once you realize if it's negative, start being grateful. Start from little things. If it's hard, start from something small or something that really like uplift you, that you're grateful for and you have it. And you will see it will start to be easier to find another thing, and so on, to the point that soon there will be no space in your brain to think about those negative patterns anymore. It will just basically, what it will do for you, it will kick off the old things, kick off those old like mechanisms from your brain eventually. First it will start small, but eventually it will just replace those things with the new, good, grateful things. You will feel more positive. You will attract more positive things in your life. You'll attract better situations in your life. And this is not just some magic. This is not just manifestation. This is truly actually written in the Bible. In the Bible, it writes a lot about what we talk, which is super important, but before we even talk, it starts with a thought, right? So think about it. Write in the comments your thoughts, your experiences. It would be interesting to read it. Stay with me. Till next time. Bye.